Yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you very much for your attention. My name is Silja-Arina Blaschke. We don't have. Oh, yay. And I'm Director of Corporate Integrated Management System at ENERCON. I have had some questions about ENERCON during the breaks we had already. Therefore, I would like to give a little bit of words for our company. You have been established in 1984. With our headquarters, we are in Aurich. And our founder has a great vision at that time. He started with 3 people, actually. We are now more than 30,000, 42 years later. And his vision was energy for the world. And this vision is following us at ENERCON till today. And I'm quite happy to be here. I'm more than 20 years in quality management now, although I'm per education, I'm an economist. I got sidetracked and never left. So I actually wanted to. I said at that time, come on, you do it. Sounds interesting. You do it 1 to 2 years and then you step on. No, I didn't. I stayed. And actually 20 years ago, when I was in automotive, I got the first contact with APQP. So I really saw a lot of it. And today I want to talk to you about not only the framework, but how we can unlock the full potential of it when we walk from framework to culture. In the morning, we had some presentations already where we touched some points of this. And I want to thank Lisbeth, because I really relate to you. We need to work more in management systems. So this is my job. And I have a little story you all know, I believe. Most of us know it. You know it when we have a framework in place and we are starting a project. We have done everything according to our framework. We talk to the customer, we know the requirements of our customer, at least we think we do. Then we have the gates we passed, we have all the documents listed, everything is in, and nevertheless we have the questions, why do we end up here? Because this is a situation that's a complete chaos. And I actually chose this picture because I can see the desperation of that person, and I felt it too in times. So we have done everything what we think was okay, and then we have escalations, we have late issues and fixes, last-minute changes, and this is all a very deep impact on our cost and our timeline. And we all know this. And cost and time is the most precious things we have. So let's elaborate a little bit on that. And for this, I would like to introduce, you all know him. We saw the PDCA cycle a few minutes ago, and that is the guy who invented it, William W. Edwards Deming. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. And whenever you heard someone talking about what is quality doing, you're the one you check at the end that the product is all right. No, not yearly, but for sure we are able to do this and we're responsible for this. But no, we are doing it not at the end. Inspection, as we see here, is too late. Quality needs to be built into it. And that's built in quality. We heard that morning before from the colleagues from TKF already mentioned. This is really key. Quality, good or bad, is in the product from the beginning. At the end, you can just save your neck, save your reputation, put lots of money in it, but it's too late. Therefore, now we want to see how the framework is doing for that. So we have a framework. We saw that. The framework exists, and not only APQP4Wind. You have other frameworks too. You have the quality management systems, you have health and safety systems, you have processes, you have quality gates. Everything like this is in place. Nevertheless, you have executions that varies. You have outcomes that are inconsistent, you have varying maturity, and ramp-ups that are unpredictable. Predictability is something we heard too. So yes, we have the same framework, but we have different results. That is explainable to across organizations, because as the saying goes, there are lots of roads that lead to Rome. It's not just one. So that is explainable. But in the same company? And here actually I have a little story for you that wasn't planned, but I was in a hotel this weekend to prepare for this speech. And I went to breakfast on Friday and I ordered some tea. Very simple, just tea. And I got to the buffet. I came back, had a pot of tea with hot water, then a tea bag and a cup. Everything fine. Put the tea bag in, let it soak, put it out. Okay, what to do with the soaked tea bag? I found a solution for sure. Next day, same thing. I asked for my tea, came back from the buffet. There was a teapot, there was a tea bag, there was a cup and a little plate where I could put the tea bag on. Very nice. Sunday, I went back again. This time when I came back, there was a lady standing in front of me, waiting for me, having the hot water, having the tea bag, put it in the hot water for me, and then placed a little hourglass on my table so that I could then have my tea ready on time. So 3 similar situations, the same process, just ordering tea. The guest wants to have the tea. 3 different outcomes. So, and you see what is the root cause for this? Yeah, 3 different people. And guess what? I get back on Monday, and it was a guy from Saturday, and exactly the same situation. I get the plate, but not the hourglass. So we are creatures of habit. So if we have adjusted to do a process in a certain way, we will repeat this every time. Here we come in step of mindset. So this is the thing. People are responsible for what they are doing, and they have a regular way of doing it. Therefore, the framework depends on the people, because that is where the outcomes come from. So knowing that, we have here now a good framework, but we have people. So we have reactive behavior, and this is really the worst case. That don't need to be every time like this, but we concentrate on the worst case of the poor outcomes we have here. And this is, and here it's really, we have APQP4Wind, we have the deliverables completed, risk assessed, where we pass control plans defined. And here we have this, what is one of the requirements, FMEA in the system. We have an FMEA in the system. Check. Okay. And then we are nearing start of production, for example. And then we detect late issues. And then, yeah, what happened? You have on a time pressure, people are getting hectic. We remember the man with the axe. So we fix it very quickly, root cause not important. We just need to find a fix for it. Generally, we move on after that. We take no ownership. And as we had only fixed the symptoms, we never fix the root causes. They can repeat. And to be honest, I have a little story here for this too. When I was in automotive industry, we were roughly 1 week before the customer came for the final approval run on our side. And for sure, we make a test run because we want to be on the safe side. We want to have everything ready. And we had a housing that was made of aluminum, which was fixed with 4 screws. And I can tell you, all 4 screws fall through the holes. All screws, not only 2, not all. So 5 days to go. The one with the X, that was me at that time. And we started, all hell broke loose. What to do? Okay, housing, no issue. So screws, supplier for screws. We need to have a bigger diameter. Calls the supplier, no capacity. You know that. Then management got involved, top management got involved, escalation, everything that we see here, escalation loops, everyday meetings, pressure on the supplier, no, we don't have capacity. We throw lots of money at the supplier. Guess what? He has the capacity. We got the screws, for sure, we saved the world, we always do. But at what cost? Not only money, but nerves, people, stress, frustration too. Could that have been avoided? For sure. We asked who was responsible. What was the root cause? We do that in that case. Yeah, it was, you all know, the tolerance chain, because supplier was completely on the right. Supplier for screws, minimum tolerance. Supplier for housing, maximum tolerance. Drawing was ours. Nobody checked it. We are talking design phase here, so right at the beginning. So question to the engineer, we haven't checked this. Yeah, we wanted to do that, but we didn't have time, you know, and it was, by the way, copy-paste. Another project did it, and it worked fine. So fortunately, said it worked fine for us too. So we just give it through. Okay, spoiler, I talked to the other project, then they have the same issue. They fixed it quickly, they moved on, and they didn't change the drawing because it is too much work to change the drawing, but it was much easier to find a workaround with the PPAP where it states which diameter you need to deliver. So, you know, it's people who are doing things, who really doing things under pressure, who really defining the outcomes. This is what the real importance is, to know that. And normally, if you have saved the world, you are happy and you just move on to the next firefighting. So we always are in firefighting mode. And if you have people who are for this reactive behavior responsible, it is people who can break this loop of reactive behavior. And the points you see here are not, they are all important, but the most important one is the first one, the active recognition by leadership. Because, as you know, this engineer saw that there could be a risk, but he didn't speak up. Why not? Because he knows the time pressure, he knows the project leader has to make a decision already, so he just stayed silent. What we need to do in leadership, and I mean everybody who's in leadership, from the group leader, from the team leader to the top management, need really ensure that the people know we can talk openly. We need to talk openly, and we need to address the risk early. Only then can we work together and have because we work together for the same target, everybody. one company, everybody in our company, ENERCON, is working for one thing, for our vision, energy for the world, and to put the turbines on. And it's regardless what you're doing, be it HR, be it sales, we all have the same target, building turbines, energy for the world. And this is something they need to understand, and that's where we need to get it into the brains of people. And when we do this, and we have here, for example, what we see, the building quality lives in everyday actions. This is really what we need to have. If we would have that, then the engineers would challenge unclear requirements or would even ask production stops. Leaders prior the prevention over speed. What does it mean? That means that the project leader in this case might have taken the time and say, hey, come on, maybe you have a point here. Let's just sit together. Let's have a look at this. Maybe speak to the other project, because yes, we do lessons learned. We always know the check mark, lessons learned done. Have you ever spoken to the project before? Well, every time, I believe. So the requirements that are quite easy to have. People need just the courage, the ownership, and the discipline. And that is something we can give them. This is something we need to ensure that they are able to do this without really facing consequences. But I don't mean just report mistakes. I mean to really realize that you are part of the solution too. We want to hear you. Even because I think we heard it this morning, when a worker has done a process 100 times, he starts maybe to bridge it. Yes, it's a possibility. But it can be an opportunity too. Because if he knows that we hear, if we listen to him, then he might come up to us and we find a solution that is faster, that is better. And if not, we can say, okay, no, we don't do this because we have a safety issue here. But at least he would know it and he would speak about it. What we don't need, and we heard that already, is more documents, more gates, more audits. That is for sure. But if you do that, because it's something we all at quality, lots of people like to do this. In Germany, we love our documents. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah. We have lots of them. But we don't need more of them. We need to work with the people, not with the documentation. And we at ENERCON have really, as you see in the upper right side, this is our mantra for this. We do not accept, build, or ship a defect. And this is what we see as building quality. And what we mean with that is in your space, in our space, for everybody, for me, as well as for my colleagues. What I can control is what I do, what I accept in my process, and what goes out of my process. And I take responsibility for this. I think you said this, Laurent, this morning, that we need to take responsibility. Then we are in the mind of the peoples and can work with it. And then we have a very simple equation. The fixed term is on the left side. We have the framework, and we know APQP is a really good framework. It really exists, it works. It has everything in it that we need. But it needs to be done with a certain culture behind it. Because yes, you can have an FMEA in a system. Check. But is the FMEA good? Is the FMEA really a living document? Has everybody understood what it is? And is really relating to it? That is what culture is. Because what culture defines is what happens under pressure. That has the people, if time is what are they doing? Are they getting hectic, or are they really have the courage, raise their hands? Sorry, but I think we have a problem here. And we can talk about this. And if you have a culture that is enabling this, is encouraging this, then you have a building quality that ensures that people take responsibility for quality in all steps of the process. And this is the most important things from the very beginning. If this happens, then you see much less failures at the end. And this means with a building quality culture, you have the possibility for APQP4Wind to really become a business enabler. On the operative scale, for sure, you already know that. Just take the engineer with the screws, the early decision. If you would have raised his hand, if he had said, stop, let's check this, if the tolerances are matching at each other before we give it to the suppliers, then all the rest would not have happened. We have less late changes, we have less rework, and we have a stable ramp up. That is not just a dream, it's possible. But for this, we need the people. And if we have that, then we have in the business for sure the risk reduction, everything that comes from it, lower cost of poor quality. And even in that, if we really do it right, you would have lower cost of poor quality, but we have lower cost of good quality too. Because people will be responsible for what they do. They will ask by themselves. We heard lots about training. Yeah, we train the people, but you all know it. We have FMEA moderators. If you have an FMEA moderator, then he has a certificate, but he is not able to moderate an FMEA because this really needs time, that needs repetition. You need to really get into this process. This is just the beginning. And if people realize this and take responsibility for it, then this really gets something that lives. And with that, we need to have 3 mindset shifts here to really see that APQP4Wind can deliver its full value. And we heard it already. APQP4Wind is a process, like any other process. Processes are boring. Processes are a nuisance. Processes are something that maybe we can work around because it's easier. No, it's not just a process. It's how we make decisions. And this was just said with the FMEA. If we really get into our minds, what is an FMEA? It is the place where all our knowledge is based, where all the experiences in, where everybody has contributed to. Yes, this is something that belongs to us, that stays with us, that helps the others, the projects that come after ours, to be better, to be even faster, to really skip some stages if necessary, because as we did, automotive works in platforms. If we have really good FMEA, you don't need to do everything again. You can just adjust the changes, for example. So this is really where we need to have, is how we make decisions. It's not just a process. Quality is a function. Yes, it is. It always has been. But there is a difference between quality as a function or what quality is in general. And quality is everyone's responsibility. You do it in your private life, you're doing it at work. And you're doing it better you feel. So, and if we, as people, with all our colleagues, really encourage this, and we tried this already, we see people are really open for this because they want to be part, they want to be involved. And so quality is not just a function anymore. It's something we all work for, we all work on. We fix problems fast, yes. That's how we save the world. We always have done it, and it has always worked. And it's good that we can do this. It's very good that we have the experts that can fix problems fast. But it would be much nicer if we prevent them from happening the first time. Not because of costs for sure. That's the main thing we have, because we are always in a firefighting mode. And prevention over firefighting would be a very nice thing to have, because less nerves, happier people, less costs, it makes the whole life easier. And it's for this, you learn much more, because we talked about transparency. If we really have prevention in place, then we learn from each project, from each other. Even if I say we don't build except ship a quality defect, I can learn from my internal supplier as well as from my internal customer, because we talk together. We have collaboration here, because we know we can. We will not be looked at, oh, yeah, what do you want now? Because I don't have time for you. No. And it's for the same sake we are doing this. These fast panel, it's energy for the world. It's having really good wind turbines, really be part of the green energy revolution, really have the energy transition here, because it's the most important thing, for me at least at the moment, we have for. And with this, I thank you for listening. Quite fast.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. Reflecting on building culture and quality. How do you in ENERCON, ensure that get that culture, and is that somehow measurable or?
Measurable, yes, it will be in time, but it is not like you can do a training. But what we are doing now, because we realize this, is we have rolled out a big project, a built-in quality project. We really have, we call it training, but it's not really. We really go through every department with every people and talk to them about what is building quality, what does it mean for you, what does it mean for us. We have some practice actions there, and what I make the kick-off myself. And what I learned there is that the people are really happy to discuss, to really say, yeah, I wanted to say that all the time. Yeah, because design is always sending us this, and this doesn't work. Can we talk? Yeah, you can talk to them, but we don't know that. So, and when we realize, okay, for the next building quality sessions we need to have more room for discussions. And we are now trying to put in more cross-functional people in, so whenever possible, that they can discuss with each other. What we then will do is we will, you cannot make a checklist. It was actually, it was a suggestion from a colleague from mine. Yeah, we need to check the effectiveness of the building quality project. Yeah, we can give us a checklist. No, we don't go with a checklist. We go to the people, we talk to them, and just see, hey, has something changed? And for sure, we will look at our numbers. because at a certain time we can relate, we see how our projects are running, what is happening there, because we are monitoring them very close, and where we found the failures, if we're going well, more in the front, and if people are talking more. This is something what we are doing now, and it's rolled out by the end of last year. So we have lots of work to do still, but we are very confident that it's very good. The acceptance and the colleagues is very good. So we hope that this will be a real success.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I guess that the training session also enabled this safe space where it's not a real case that you discuss, because sometimes when you have a real quality case, I guess then becomes more into a blame game, right?
Yeah.
And then people start to defend themselves, right? Now it's theoretically discussing it, right? And then,
But that's exactly the point. This is the blame game that's going on. They are sending us that we are not responsible for this because we're just production. We're just doing what design is saying us. No, you can tell something. And if you have a better idea, then tell us. And this is, but they have the safe space to really speak up here. That's really the thing. And one thing that is very tricky about built-in quality, by the way, I forgot to mention that in my speeches, as you see it here, we don't accept build or ship a defect. Most people understand that this means I have to report every mistake. That is quite nice when you report it. But no, you have to be part of the solution too. Because I don't need you to just say, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, doesn't work, and this is, by the way, dirty. No, you really need to be part of the solution. And if the people have understood that, then I really have fun doing this, because I had this idea long ago. So we really see that in our sessions here. And this is really great to see that. So that is why I'm very passionate about this project and about this topic, because I think it's all what we have. The framework it all depends on the people that work in it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing.